What it do, what it do, how y'all feeling? Welcome, this is AshnielzRadio. I am your host, Ashniel. That is I, so we talking to y'all. Yes. Now, there's been a lot of Trump news lately, particularly with the Epstein situation. Now, I did want to cover it because why not, right? I had a debate earlier today about this Epstein situation, and I think we're minimizing it. Personally, yeah, I could be wrong, but I think the media and everyone there, they can make this a bigger deal than what they are. So lately, we got some news where the Wall Street Journal had published this, I guess, letter that Trump supposedly wrote, allegedly, to Epstein regarding his birthday, 50th birthday. Now, I personally, who knows? Who knows if it's true? Who knows if it's not true? But one thing I do know is that this investigation is going on, and we are going to try and let all the evidence come out, right? Hopefully. So the latest news or evidence is the fact that Trump wrote this letter, and in this letter was some weird shit. Personally, now if this letter is true, if Trump did write this to Epstein on his birthday, then he has some explaining to do. Personally, yeah.
I'm Elizabeth Cook, and we have some breaking news that we're following. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that President Donald Trump sent the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein a body letter for his birthday in 2003. Trump was one of several friends who sent letters to the late convicted sex offender for his birthday in 2003. Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's friend and partner, collected Trump's letters and others and according to the documents reviewed by the Wall Street Journal. Now, according to the Journal, also the letter contains, quote, several lines of typewritten text framed by the outline of a naked woman, which appears to be hand-drawn with a heavy marker. A pair of small arcs denotes the woman's breasts, and the future president's signature is squiggly written Donald below her waist. So I want to bring in CBS News Chief White House correspondent.
Trump. P-Mert. I used to call him P-Mert. Trump 1.0. That's his name backwards. If he did, like I said, we don't know if this is true. We just don't know. This is new evidence that came out. Trump, what secrets? What secrets? I want to know. I want to know what this letter is about, man, because I want to see the art. We need to publish it. You can edit out the boobs. You can. But we need to see. We need to check the autograph, the signature, to see if it matches, to make sure that this is Trump. But if he's tied to this, shit.
Nancy Cordes. Nancy, what can you tell us? What do you know about this?
Good evening, Liz. So you've laid out some of the basics, but yes, this was a letter that the Wall Street Journal says was among dozens that were collected from friends and associates of Epstein for his 50th birthday back in 2003. And the letter from President Trump to Epstein, they say, included several lines of text in which Donald Trump said, "We have certain things in common. Enigmas never age." And at the end said, "May every day be another wonderful secret." Some suggestive language for a man, Jeffrey Epstein, who would go on to be, convicted of interacting with underage girls and shopping them around to others. But the president is he's pushing back ferociously tonight, Liz. He has already posted on True Social saying that this is a fake, saying that he warned not just the Wall Street Journal, but owner Rupert Murdoch personally that he was going to sue them if they published this letter. He said he never wrote it. He doesn't know anything about it. And he said that he's going to be suing the Wall Street Journal, News Corp, and Rupert Murdoch shortly. And the vice president is pushing back as well. He, like some of the other White House aides that we've heard from this evening, is asking why the Wall Street Journal didn't publish the actual letter, if they have it, and why White House officials weren't shown a copy of the letter in advance so that they could examine it.
And Nancy, one more question. You know, a vote right now is being held up on Capitol Hill over a massive budget, which would mean cuts to public media. Any word from other lawmakers? I mean, this Epstein case was the reason why this vote was being held up. Any word from other lawmakers who are concerned about the Jeffrey Epstein investigation?
You know, I think that this is just going to add fuel to the fire. This is a story that the White House would really like to go away. The White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, said today that it's Democrats who are perpetuating this storyline, but really, as you point out, Liz, it's a lot of Republicans who have questions, who want to see, what the Department of Justice has, who thought that the Attorney General was going to release more information about the Epstein files. So it's Republican lawmakers and, frankly, the MAGA base that have a lot of questions. And this story from a news organization like the Wall Street Journal, which doesn't tend to publish, inflammatory, poorly sourced stories, especially on something as sensitive as this is sure to add fuel to the fire.
And Nancy, for the viewers who are just joining us now, I want to bring up that Truth Social post. If you could once again sort of highlight what the president issued on his social media channel, Truth Social, just moments ago about this.
What he said was that this supposed letter is a fake. And he said that when he was asked about it, warned the Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch, the owner of News Corp, personally, that he was going to sue them if they published it. And he says that now that it has been published, he is going to sue the Wall Street Journal, he's going to sue News Corp and Mr. Murdoch shortly. And then he went on to say that he has sued multiple other news outlets and that he's very comfortable doing it again. He called the Wall Street Journal a disgusting and filthy rag that has been writing defamatory lies about him. But I just have to stress again, the Wall Street Journal hardly a tabloid and hardly left leaning, and you would imagine how many layers of scrutiny a story like this, with all the obvious sensitivities, would have to go through before it was published.
And President Trump spent most of this week really trying to get this story to go away, Nancy. Obviously, it's late where you are on the East Coast. This story is going to dominate the headlines probably tomorrow. What are you going to be looking for?
Well, we'll obviously want to know how the White House is reacting to all this and how the Department of Justice is reacting to all this. You would imagine that something like this, a book that was put together for Jeffrey Epstein, where not just Donald Trump, but allegedly many bold-faced names would have probably contributed a letter or a memento of some sort. There'd be questions about whether the Department of Justice also has this book in their possession, how the Wall Street Journal got a hold of it, and how the White...
All right. Now, forgive me. Now, that obviously wasn't the title of this video. But, so, had to do some editing. Apparently, Wall Street Journal has... published this letter. Trump threatened to sue him. And, as we know, defamation lawsuits, you have to have what we call a discovery. And Trump has to prove that this is a lie. And if Trump can't prove that this is a lie, then this may be there may be some there. Let's just say that. There may be some there. But I do want to highlight on the fact that Trump is always. I don't get it. Somebody can help me. If you're a Trump supporter, somebody can help me. I just don't understand why he's always suing people. He sues everybody. He is suing people left and right. His feelings get hurt.
House is responding to this.
His feelings is always hurt for some weird ass reason, and I don't get it. I don't get why Trump is hurt. You're the president, man. You won already, right? You would think you beat everybody, right? But no, he is still mad at something. And one of the latest victims in his little tirade is Stephen Colbert. Now, Stephen Colbert, literally, he's the biggest Trump hater. But nah, his show. It's late night TV. If you into late night TV, it's funny, right? It's something to laugh at. But for Trump to sue all these networks, right? First it was George Stephanopoulos, right? He's been gone ever since that lawsuit. He's threatened to sue who was that? Shit. Oh, who was that? He just threatened to sue somebody. Forgot who it was. He done it so many times. But this time he sued the late night show with Stephen Colbert, and they lost so much money that they had to fire this guy. And I guess his show is going to go on at least for another season. And then it's bye-bye to Stephen Colbert. And I think that's kind of fucked up. I think that is some thin-skinned shit. Hold on one second. This might be a little loud. I think that's some thin-skinned shit, personally, if you ask me. Because Trump talks the most shit. Right? At least that's what I thought. He talks the most shit. And for him to really be in his feelings about some of these newscasters and late night hosts, it's kind of embarrassing. It's kind of embarrassing.
It is the end of an era. CBS is canceling The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. It'll go off the air next May. The announcement coming just days after Colbert criticized his $16 million settlement paid by CBS News' parent company Paramount to settle a lawsuit filed by President Trump.
Next year will be our last season. The network will be ending The Late Show in May. And I share your feelings. It's not just the end of our show, but it's the end of The Late Show on CBS. I'm not being replaced. This is all just going away.
Now, CBS calls this a financial decision, but some are wondering whether the move was at all politically motivated. Senator Elizabeth Warren tweeting, quote, "The deal looks like bribery. America deserves to know if his show is canceled for political reasons." CNN media analyst Sarah Fisher is joining us now. Sarah, good to see you this Friday morning. I first just want to get your take on CBS's decision.
Jessica, if it was a political decision, they have enough plausible deniability to say that it was a financial one because of the current state of late night and comedy television. It's very expensive to produce something live every single day, and viewership and ratings for traditional television continue to drop. So even if this was political, CBS can get away with saying it wasn't. But I think what you're seeing from Senator Warren's tweet is that people just don't believe that this was a total financial decision, given the backdrop of what you just announced, the settlement with Donald Trump, all of the political pressure, et cetera.
California Democratic Senator Adam Schiff was a late night guest last night when this announcement was made. I want to take a listen to what he told Colbert about Trump.
He wants to make news organizations, CBS and Paramount, afraid. He wants to make ABC afraid, and he is succeeding. In the first term, there were at least some people to stand up to him. The Secretary Mattis's, the John Kelly's, and others that had some stature who were willing to say, Mr. President, that's a stupid-ass idea.
Sarah, how would you broadly assess?
That's true. Like, he sued everybody, and he's actually winning these lawsuits only because they're settling. And as you heard, Stephen Colbert is over there like, damn, bro, he's actually disappointed in them not fighting this shit. And I think that's what needs to happen. I think somebody needs to allow these defamation lawsuits to come on with Trump and go through the discovery process and then countersue him. Countersue him. Don't try to make this shit go away with millions of dollars and now you lost one of your late night hosts. But yes, that is true. That the fact that these shows are expensive and the ratings are going down. But that's all television. That's all television. News, daytime, late night TV, all of that shit, just having cable is outdated. So, just like with the Joy Reids of the world, this might be a benefit. Look at Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson got kicked, and shit, he's been on a tour all around the world, Russia and all over the place, on his own name. Bill O'Reilly got fired, and he's trying to revamp, but you know, he can't figure it out. But this might be something good for Stephen. You know, Joy took all her viewers with her when she left MSNBC, and now she has her own YouTube channel. So hey, maybe this is counterproductive, because we do see that he's doing what everybody said that he was going to do with that enemy list.
That's the state of news media in this era of the second Trump administration.
I agree with the former congressman. It's under a lot of political pressure. And he's right that news companies are buckling. I mean, both ABC and CBS settled lawsuits that legal experts say they could have won in court, likely because out of fear of political retribution. Of course, we know that CBS was undergoing a merger with its parent company, and they felt as though they needed to settle that lawsuit in order to get regulatory approval of that deal. We're also seeing the Trump-era FCC go after media companies for their DEI policies, which is not typically something that is really fallen within their jurisdiction and their priority list. And you're seeing media companies all changing their DEI policies in response. Telecom companies too. It's worth noting that T-Mobile changed its DEI policies to get a few deals of its own approved. And so I think media companies feel this pressure. And the biggest concern, Jessica, is not necessarily that they're paying lawsuits. The biggest concern is that they feel like they have to self-censor themselves because they're afraid of what that means for retribution. And that's why I think you have people concerned about the canceling of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. It's a form of self-censoring in a way.
All right, CNN media analyst Sarah Fisher, thanks for stopping by this morning. We appreciate it.
That's exactly what it is. Personally, that's what I think it is, because all you're doing is crying. That's all I see him doing, is crying at the fact that people don't care for him as much as he think they do. As much as he think they do. So he's using the power of the presidency to go after people who are criticizing him, who are critical of him. They didn't do anything criminal. They're not doing anything illegal. They just talking shit. And these jokes are getting to him. So, I don't know. Y'all make of it what y'all think, what y'all will, because I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Trump, and there's a lot of Trump supporters out there who are sitting here looking at this situation as if it's not that big of a deal, right? It's not that big of a deal. That's fascism 101. You asked me. So, on some other news, we got some crazy shit. Some crazy shit that happened in Los Angeles today, you guys. A bomb went off. Right? A bomb went off in the parking lot of a police training facility. Yes, in the parking lot. And the information that's coming out is kind of vague. We're trying to figure it out, what all happened. But as of right now, we know that 3 officers has lost their lives. And it was a literal explosion. That's what we got.
All right, let's go back to Los Angeles now, and reports that 3 people have been killed in an explosion at an East Los Angeles Sheriff's Center. Our local affiliate KTLA following this on the ground and from the sky with their chopper. Want to listen in here for a moment at some of their local coverage.
These trucks in the parking lot. So again, I'll be a little I want to make sure to not show anything that's sensitive here in the parking lot, but it would appear that I've seen 3 bodies that are right next to this cluster of trucks in the parking lot of this training facility.
Awful. Yeah, and Rich, it has been confirmed that there were in fact 3 deputies that were killed. So that tracks with that. I don't know these mobile units here. Folks may recall in 2023 there was a mobile shooting range that caught fire during a training exercise, and 2 deputies were seriously injured. One later died from his injuries, Deputy Freddie Flores. That was in 2023. We don't know if these units are also related or used in a similar fashion, but from what you're reporting to us, this explosion occurred near these sort of semi-trucks down here. And I don't know how they're employed or if they have anything at all to do with this. Eric Spillman has told us that the arson and explosives detail was somehow related to what happened here, or that it occurred in an area where those folks train. So, we're just trying to piece together what we can and being as conservative as possible in the reporting of it, because to your point, Rich, of the sensitivity of what we are reporting, and we certainly don't want to show anything that would identify any of these folks, so that their family members don't learn of this from us.
So there was an explosion in a place where they train. Okay? What kind of explosion? Battery? Bomb? Pressure? Water tank? Some? Talk to us. 3 people are dead. Cars are destroyed. And in this climate, where we were told, we were told by the DOJ and others that we have threats that are coming in, heightened threats, terror cells. Watch out for the terror cells. What kind of explosion was this, bro? Was this nefarious? Was this like an attack? This is LAPD, or is this the sheriff department? We need a little bit more. But yeah, this is breaking news, and it's all coming out as we speak. They're trying to give updates, so we're gonna follow this story because I think it's crazy. Personally, I do. I don't know. I don't think they're giving us more, or they're not giving us everything they could give us. They have a lot more, a whole lot more. I respect the fact that they don't want to give out no names and all of that, but right now, y'all could tell us if it was a car explosion or a new bomb that y'all trying to use on migrants. I don't know. It could be something, but y'all don't want to tell us. Y'all don't want to tell us, and it's kind of suspicious that they don't want to tell us. Now, we do have an update. Hold on. We have an update on PMERT. We have an update on Trump. How much? Trump. Now, the lawsuit Trump is filing has now, I guess, is going on, you guys. I think he is serious about this because we now have a price of $10 million. Oh, $10 billion. He's suing for $10 billion. Shit. Now, that goes back to what I was saying. We're going to have to go through what we call a discovery process. If you, Trump, can explain to the court that this is all a lie, then you got this in the bag. If we see this $10 billion lawsuit vanish, poof, then there's some there. Sorry.
Trump's Department of Justice asking a judge to release grand jury testimony in the Jeffrey Epstein case. This comes after members of Trump's base staged a mutiny over his attorney general's failure to release the so-called Epstein files. The move may temporarily quiet some of the MAGA uproar, but it's unclear what the grand jury transcript could actually reveal. It's not a complete record of the investigation, just enough to get an indictment. And the judge has to agree to release it, which could take time, potentially a long time. The DOJ is making the request as Trump filed a defamation suit against his old friend Rupert Murdoch. Trump is asking for at least $10 billion in damages against a guy that Trump spent years praising.
My very good friend, Rupert Murdoch. There's only one Rupert.
I even got a call from Rupert Murdoch, who I have a lot of respect for.
The legendary Rupert Murdoch.
Trump taking this action after the Murdoch-owned Wall Street Journal published a letter to Jeffrey Epstein bearing Donald Trump's name, containing a drawing of a woman's body with breasts and a Donald signature in the place of pubic hair. The message reads in part, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret."
What do you mean by that? Trump, what do you mean by that? Every day must be a wonderful secret after that. What do you mean? That's what I want to know. I really want to know. What secrets do you know?
Trump claims the letter is fake, saying in part, quote, "I don't draw pictures," although he did draw pictures that were auctioned off during his first term in office. Trump's closest allies, though, are coming to his defense.
Hold on.
His vice president.
Let's see this art.
Although he did draw pictures that were auctioned off during his
This was auctioned off.
Wonderful secret. Trump claims the letter is fake, saying in part, quote, "I don't draw pictures," although he did draw pictures that were auctioned off.
Let me see. This is Trump's drawing. And somebody bought it. All right. Okay, 2004. Where's the price? Where's the price of it? Oh, man. Oh, man.
During his first term in office. Trump's closest allies, though, are coming to his defense. His vice president, who has been curiously silent on the Epstein saga after previously calling for the release of documents, posted on social media, quote, "Does anyone honestly believe this sounds like Donald Trump?" To be clear, he is talking about this Donald Trump.
Grab him by the I could do anything.
Evan Perez is out front in Washington. Evan, what does Attorney General Pam Bondi say in this new filing asking to release testimony in the Epstein case?
Well, Brianna, they're citing the public interest for asking a judge in Manhattan to release the testimony that was gathered as part of this investigation, these charges in 2019 against Jeffrey Epstein, sex trafficking and other charges. That is before he committed suicide in prison. This was a filing, it was just 4 pages that was filed with the signature of the Attorney General Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General. I'll read you just a part of what it says. It says the public interest in the Epstein matter has remained. Given this long-standing and legitimate interest, the government now moves to unseal grand jury transcripts associated with Epstein. And it also goes on to cite, Brianna, another case in Florida, in the state of Florida. If you remember, he was prosecuted, or he got a plea deal in that case in the state of Florida. And in that case, the judge released some of the grand jury testimony there and said that the Epstein case, the facts around the Epstein case, tell a tale of national disgrace. Now, that is what the Justice Department cites as part of the reason why this information should be made public. We should note that traditionally grand jury secrecy governs all of this. It's not usually released.
Yeah. So, Epstein, we get it. Do y'all believe it? Do y'all believe that Trump drew a picture for Epstein's birthday with some boobs and his signature saying about his little vagina part with his name, and then said, "Hope every day's a secret." Hope every day's a secret. I don't know, but it's kind of creepy. I want more information of that to come out, but I did request more information on this police explosion, and it looked like we have some live footage of what's going on right now.
They're out to pay their respects on their ride to the coroner's office.
Standing in salute as those bodies will be put into the vans and taken to the coroner's office. There was another deputy who was involved in this and who was injured and who remains hospitalized. So there's that angle of the story as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a lot of questions. Earlier today, when the sheriff held his news conference, he really did not say very much at all in terms of what happened, and just sort of wanted to give the time and for the families to process this information.
Not all of the families at that point even had been notified. Next of kin hadn't been notified.
Right. So we really don't know exactly what they were holding, why they were holding, how this happened. We've not seen any sort of video or anything of this, so there's a lot of questions on how exactly that happened. But what the that doesn't really matter that much to the family members who have lost their loved one tonight, and are now sort of shocked, and we're not expecting this. And a reminder really for anybody in law enforcement that any day this could happen. This is the nightmare for law enforcement. Obviously, something like this doesn't happen that often, and certainly at this scale of the department, it hasn't happened since before Abraham Lincoln was elected president. So that gives you some perspective that this is not a common thing, but it is just devastating. And it's also devastating not only to the entire department, but the speciality to be able to do this kind of work. To lose 3 people that do it all at the same time really hurts the department and their readiness to deal with situations like this.
Yes, this particular facility, the Biscay-Luce Regional Training Facility, it serves the Sheriff's Special Enforcement Bureau and the Arson Explosives Detail, which we heard the sheriff say these 3 deputies were part of the arson explosive detail, the best of the best. I'll reiterate the years of service: 74 years of combined service, 33 years for one, 22 years for another, and 19 years for the third. And those bodies have been loaded into the vans, and now the procession will formally begin momentarily. We will continue to follow that live here on Fox 11. So once that begins, we will show you that. Again, it's not that long of a route. We also do have a reporter standing by about what this could be linked to, because the big question remains of what caused the explosion. There is some speculation. There is some reporting that we will get to that this could be linked to a Santa Monica apartment complex where grenades were found yesterday. And a bomb squad was called in. So Laura Diaz, she is working that angle of the story. We will get to that eventually, but in the meantime, we do want to stick live with our picture from Skyfox as the procession is set to get underway.
Yeah, it's pretty stunning and remarkable. We have, of course, observed processions similar to this, unfortunately, many times over the years, but to see 3 vehicles together.
Hold on, what's she talking about now? Hold on. Let's see. Grenades found in apartment complex. Oh. There's a delay. They said Barbara. Grenades found in apartment complex. I think something's going on with my because they don't hear me no more. They used to always hear me, but they don't hear me no more. That's crazy. They said that shit. They said that. Let me see. 11. 12. 8. I don't see 6 years, 7 years, 1 year. Somebody found grenades in the apartment yesterday. Where is that story? I want to see that story. I'll find it. Let's go back to the live footage. Because that's crazy. You can't just be saying nothing like that. Just leave it like that to resonate? Nah, we need to know what you mean. Grenades found yesterday. Nah, I need more info. Uh-oh. I think we went to a break. Now, this is a crazy situation, y'all. This story right here, because like the news said, there was barely any information when the deputy came out to speak to us. I'll show you guys that. It's kind of boring, but he did come out with a statement, and the statement said the same shit that they just said. Oh, combined, these guys had over 70 years of service. But we still didn't hear what the hell happened.
Impacted by this blast. In addition to Catherine Barger tonight at 6 o'clock, we also have former LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva, who knows a lot about this. He will be joining us live in studio as well to give his perspective.
Yeah, and Pam Bondi actually was in Los Angeles last night. She was at Alcatraz yesterday and then did an event at the Federal Building in Los Angeles last night. I'm not sure if she spent the night here or not. She may have been here this morning when this explosion happened. And so we're looking now at a couple different angles of this. We've got our chopper, obviously, and then we've got a couple of ground cameras as well as we await the official beginning of this procession and the showing of respect for these three bodies that are going to be taken to the medical examiner's office. That is standard operating procedure in something like this. They're going to be there for an autopsy and then to be prepared, ultimately for, a funeral. We don't have any details yet in terms of when that could be. We still don't even know the names of the people that were lost. We may get that information later tonight after this procession begins. But obviously a lot of the folks that are out there as part of this procession know and probably know them personally. And so that's a reason why this is so hard for them. And you think about Catherine Barger, like you said, her connection, and you think about the amount of years that these guys served the community, the amount of different people that they've interacted with over the years, that all have sort of their memories of them.
And of course, the families that they've left behind. Again, we don't have the details of that, but certainly they come from somewhere, and they have loved ones who are in extreme pain today. After being notified by the sheriff at the time of the sheriff's presser today that started before noon, he didn't have a lot of information to give for a number of reasons. And one of those reasons, though, in terms of the identities, was out of respect. He had only talked to two of the three families that at that point. Perhaps he's made contact with the third family by now, all these hours later, but he talked about how difficult, can't even imagine, those conversations must have been. As we're looking live from Skyfox now, you see the motorcycles, the motor officers lined up. Unfortunately, we've covered these processions before, and it is quite the showing of support. As you pointed out, Alex, this brings together law enforcement from across the nation when it comes to the funerals of these deputies. So,
yeah, basically, no offense, respect. They're paying homage to the three officers that lost their lives. I guess another one is in critical condition, and this is one of them situations where we're not getting even the names of the officers. We don't know the situation, and we can't get any more information than they gave us. So we're going to sit back and wait until they decide to give us more information. But until then, that's what we have. We have the procession going on. Now, I do want to get over here real quick to a story that I want to cover. I don't know. I did want to cover this because, hold on one second. This right here kind of pissed me off. You know how you sitting back watching shit on your phone, and you're yelling at your phone, talking shit like, hey, man, bitch, why you say that? But you know they can't hear you. That's one of the reasons why a lot of us started our own shows. That way we can have our content and give our grievance out and speak our mind. Say our piece. This actual fucking take right here. Now, this interview of Piers Morgan and Joy Reid, right? This happened a few days ago. This interview kind of pissed me off. I'm not going to lie. Because we know Joy Reid was fired from MSNBC, like I stated earlier. Right? And Piers want to make it seem like she was fired because of her race baiting. All she talks about is race, right? And of course, if you watch Joy Reid's show, you know that she basically, highlights the oppression in America and across the world. So she could speak up a little bit more. But her family are immigrants. Her people are, I think they're somewhere in Africa. Don't let me lie to you. But she went on Piers Morgan's show to basically talk about her firing and other things, right? And Piers Morgan tried his hardest. Oh, he tried his hardest to give her one of them gotcha moments. And it didn't work out. It didn't work out. All it highlighted was the fact that he was a disgusting, racist piece of shit that we all know he is. And Joy, I think she handled herself well. She could have came back with some shit. But that's why I want to go over this video, because I want to make sure that he ain't going to hear this, but we're going to put this out there. You a piece of shit. Yes.
To books in their library which involve strap-on dildos.
If the person is brown, they need to be rounded up and put into quote-unquote alligator Alcatraz, a concentration camp in Florida. If the person is white, we let them start a business and become Elon Musk.
Do you know how many people Barack Obama deported in 8 years?
I don't know and don't care.
Well, hang on. You don't know and you don't care. The majority were brown.
Absolutely disingenuous argument, Piers, because this is your shtick.
It was your shtick.
It is your shtick, and everyone knows that it is.
It was your shtick. People got bored with it. Have you watched Brokeback Mountain?
No.
Are you posting on your blog that you wouldn't watch Brokeback Mountain because you don't want to see two male characters having sex? Your words, not mine, Joy.
And your point is?
I've actually got Michael Knowles waiting in the wings.
Right.
Is there anything you'd like to say to him?
What was his point? I don't know. We're going to get to it.
The MAGA base is at war over the Epstein files, but hostilities have not ceased on the Democrat side either. This week, former President Obama told a DNC fundraiser that it's time to toughen up and stop whining, navel-gazing, and being in fetal positions. He urged Democrats to stand up for the things that you think are right. The problem, of course, is that Democrats don't agree on what they think is right. They are only united in saying that Trump is wrong. That point was illustrated in colourful language by former CNN host Chris Cuomo.
I don't give a fuck how many likes you get on your comments by hating Trump, because it doesn't win the race. You get 42, 44%. That's what just happened. Trump sucks doesn't win the race. My frustration is with you thinking you keep doing the same thing, which is just pound on this fucking guy, which is easy enough to do.
Look at Chris trying to talk all hard and shit, using spicy language. Fuck. Pounding on this fucking guy. Chris, calm down. Calm down, bro. Yeah. You better hope your brother win in New York. Since you got all the fucking ideas on how to win an election, make sure Andrew win. Make sure Andrew win. Because it seems like y'all afraid of this Muslim guy out there in New York.
But you don't win the race. So now what you're doing is doubling down on Trump sucks by outrage and making your own MAGA. I don't think it's going to work for Democrats.
Imagine being able to build anything just by...
Sorry. You know they're going to add me to death. Add me to your favorite
From the election, it's not clear who is leading the opposition or which direction it will choose. There are the pragmatic centrists like Josh Shapiro and Pete Buttigieg, who are socially liberal but hyper-focused on electability. And there are the radicals like AOC, Bernie Sanders and Mamdani, who want to burn it all down and start again. Many people, myself included, saw Trump's victory as a culmination of a huge backlash to identity politics and its unhealthy obsession with racial justice, woke activism, and demonizing opponents. Many people, including myself, saw Joy Reid as a strident advocate for identity politics, exhibiting an unhealthy obsession with racial justice, woke activism, and demonizing opponents.
Unhealthy
obsession. Respond to that because Joy Reid, who hosts the Joy Reid Show on YouTube, joins me now. Joy Reid, welcome to Uncensored.
Piers, thank you for having me.
Well, we've never met, I don't think. We've never spoken to each other. I think we've locked horns a little bit on social media in the past. I think I'm blocked by you on X. I can't remember what crime I committed, but probably Trump-related. Just first of all, what...
You know how many people Piers Morgan them blocked on X? I don't know why he says that as if she did something that was like unheard of. He blocks everybody on X.
Barack Obama has said and what Chris Cuomo said there. Has that given you pause for thought about what the Democrats should now do? Because it's all very well just shrieking constantly about how evil Trump is, but it clearly hasn't worked now twice. You know, the fact that the guy went away for 4 years and then came back and won again was an utter repudiation of the tactics to be him, wasn't it?
Well, first of all, I'll say I have not blocked you on X Twitter because I haven't been on X Twitter since Elon Musk acquired it. I actually left the platform, so there might be someone posing as me who's blocked you. So
I think it was prior to Elon's purchase.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, so this is an interesting conversation because there is no one who is more obsessed with racial identity politics than Donald Trump. Right. He ran the most racial identity politics laden campaign that I've seen in my lifetime, and I've been following politics since I was 12.
Right.
The point of his campaign was, if I was to sum it up, that immigrants, whom he identified as gang members from Venezuela, as people from S-hole countries, as essentially any non-white migrant or immigrant in the country, were vermin who were poisoning the blood of our country.
Well, he was talking about criminal, illegal immigrants. He was talking... Well, hang on. He was talking... You can't misquote him off the top. This is my point, though. This is my point. You know, I remember... Let me just say something, Joy. I remember when he won in 2016.
How was that misquoting him? They all say that shit. They use that as a little buffer. No. He just trying to get all the criminals out. Okay. We all agreed that if a migrant or illegal, undocumented person is in this country, if they commit a crime, yes, they should be deported. That happens any fucking way. Anyway, so with Trump going to all these places of business like farms and Home Depots and even the courthouse where they're trying to seek asylum and go to their hearing, they're not going after criminals. They want all brown folks out who are in this country undocumented. We ain't gonna say illegal on this show. They ain't illegal. Ain't nobody illegal on stolen land. But a lot of those people were let in at the previous administration with a temporary protective status, a TPS status program. That means they were let in this country legally. So all that bullshit about, oh no, they're going after the illegal migrants who committed a crime. What crime? What crime? Please tell me, because Trump wants you to believe that, you know, everybody here is rapists and murderers. He got to get them out.
I was at the New York Knicks the next day with my eldest son, and Chris Rock was there at the next table. We got talking. I said, why do you think Trump won? And he said, you know why? He said, if someone's murdered 8 people, stop going around saying he's murdered 9. And he didn't mean Trump had actually murdered anyone. What he meant was, there's plenty to criticize Trump about. I've done it myself many times. But there's also a lot of stuff that resonates with people. And I think it's the over-exaggeration, the over-demonization of Trump is part of the problem. And your characterization of his depiction of immigrants, you said the word immigrants. Actually, what he was talking about repeatedly on his stump in his rallies was specifically illegal immigrants who come in illegally, who are criminals, who are already convicted criminals, who've come into America across the southern border in huge numbers, who are criminals. He wasn't...
Over 80% of the migrants that they locked up had no prior conviction.
Talking about non-criminal immigrants, as you tried to put it there. So there is a difference.
False. No, first of all, it's absolutely false. Let's talk about, for one example, the Haitian immigrants in Ohio. These are people who were in the country on a legitimate visa, who were actually improving that community by taking jobs desperately, where people desperately needed to hire and did not have any, enough American-born employees, and they were hiring these folks. They were taking badly needed jobs. They were improving the community economically. He accused them of eating people's cats and dogs. He characterized them as if they were animals.
He did.
These are people who his own administration had allowed into the country on a legitimate visa.
But I agree with you.
First of all, stop. Let me just.
Well, I agree with you.
So his all-encompassing term about immigrants being vermin and poisoning the blood of the country was all-encompassing because it included them. And in his mind, it included anyone who he said came from an S-hole country, meaning if you came from Nigeria, if you came from the Gabon, if you came from any country in Africa,
But if you came from South Africa and you're white, then you're all right. Shit.
In a blanketed way, depicted immigrants, again, with Nazi terminology, vermin.
Well, let's leave Nazis out of it. You know what? Whenever people...
let me
but Joy, it's taken you what? It's taken you 4 minutes and you've called him a Nazi already. Come on.
And now, what we're seeing are masked federal agents sweeping up cooks.
Right. Oh. They're gonna add me to death. And that's what I'm saying, bro. It's not working, Pierce. You know he's a Nazi. He's doing Nazi-like shit. He's having fun with his so-called
people who work on farms.
What you call it? His military. He loves the shit. Oh, he's like a kid with all his little army toys. You know, back in the day, I'm an 80s baby, so back in the day, we used to have those little plastic army men with the little bases on the bottom, so they stand up, and they had a little gun that's pointing this way. Some were green, some were brown, and then you would set up like all the green versus brown, and it's been green versus brown. But yes, that battle used to be amazing. It seemed like Trump loves the fact that he has his real army men, that he can just go and do shit. And there's not too much going on overseas outside of the Israel situation. So he feels like he doesn't have anywhere to use these army men. So he just put them. He put them in L.A. He put these motherfucking military men in Los Angeles just so he can have his little fun.
Picking up dishwashers, any brown person, and Tom Homan said, based on one criteria being their appearance. It's overwhelmingly brown and some black people. We're not seeing them sweeping up white folks on the street. Donald Trump ran a racial identity campaign. And yeah, this is America. That is appealing to, unfortunately, a lot of Americans.
Well, actually, it turned out to be very appealing to Latino Americans who voted for him in record numbers. More Latinos voted for him than voted for Kamala Harris.
What does that matter, Pierce? Pierce, go and poll those Hispanics today. Go ask them. Ask them, how do they feel about their vote? Try that one.
Harris, the non-white candidate. More black Americans, African Americans voted for Trump this time round than first time round. So
That's true. Statistically, it was the same. The same number of black Republicans voted for him that always
do. More black Americans voted for Trump this time than last time.
It was the same. And by the way, this is the other challenge. There is a phenomenon, and my family are immigrants. And there is a phenomenon among immigrants of slamming the door behind themselves.
Right.
And by the way, more Latinas, women in the Latino community voted for Harris. But there is a phenomenon, if you talk to people who actually are in the community and study this and spend a lot of time on it, journalists who studied it, there are a lot of Latinos who want so badly to identify with Americanness that they identify against fellow immigrants. That is not a new thing.
No, but maybe they weren't identifying. Maybe they weren't identifying. But Joy,
that's
true.
That's
Joy,
not new.
Maybe they were just
blackness and racism
let me respond to
inside the
that.
Latino community is not new. It's
let me respond to that.
Exists.
That's true. We got a lot of them. We got a lot of them self-hating motherfuckers that come from another country, and then they can see that if they do some anti-black shit, they will be respected in white America. Not around the rest of America because it's not lucrative to respect, the black and brown community. But yeah, we got a lot of those people, especially in our community, like the Myron Gaines of the world, come from Sudan and talk about how black folks are bad. And FBAs, foundational black Americans, are bad. Fuck is you. And then he gets paid to do these little spiels. He goes on these little shows. Bro, they spend money for him to talk at these PACs and shit. You can tell they're being paid to just smear someone who looks like them because they can't do it themselves. White folks can't talk about another race like we can about our own. So they hire one of these motherfuckers to do it. And yes, it seems like there's a lot of immigrants that come in here and talk bad about their people who's trying to come behind them when they shut the door. Hey, don't let them in. I'm one of the good ones. That's how they do it. I'm one of the good ones.
Maybe they were just sick and tired of people like you, and I say this respectfully, but people like you constantly calling Trump a Nazi. Maybe they thought it was ridiculous.
Maybe
to compare...
don't call people vermin and say they're poisoning the blood of our country. That's not our terminology. Don't use it.
You have repeatedly, over the last few years, called Trump a Nazi. Now, the Nazis were the most despicable, awful human beings.
That's up to interpretation.
We've seen in 1,000 years. They murdered 12 million people, 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. Trump is not a Nazi. So when you do that, you thought it. Let me finish.
Let me make a point. He said comparing Trump to Nazis is not a good thing because Nazis are despicable human beings, right? Now, this is Piers Morgan. We just had this little controversy, right? About I don't know if it was in the UK, one of these rappers out there on stage said verbatim, death to the IDF, right? Death to the IDF. And a lot of people in the crowd was chanting with him because they all share the same sentiment. And of course, the people around the world, like Piers Morgan, had criticisms for his statement. And one of the criticisms of Piers Morgan was, how can you say death to a military group who was just taking orders, right? They're just taking orders. You can't fault them. These are our boys and girls who just decide to join the military. He tried to make sense of it, said that my brother fought in the British Army and he did some horrible things. He asked that we can quit, but he was just taking orders. Can we say that the Nazis, can we say they were just taking orders and Hitler was the bad guy? Or is that too much? Would that be too much to say, Piers? You can't call the Nazis despicable people. They were just taking orders, Piers. Hitler, right? That's the guy that we need to vilify, right? Not those innocent German soldiers.
Just done what you normally do. I have said he uses Nazi terminology, and that's a fact.
Right.
Saying people are poisoning the blood of our country, that is Nazi talk. That is what I've said about Trump. I will stand by it, because if you're calling people vermin and saying that they're poisoning the blood of our country, you are lifting language out of the Nazi playbook. That is very different from saying that Donald Trump is perpetrating a Holocaust such as in the 1930s. But what he is doing is straight fascism. That's not me saying it. Mark Milley, his former Joint Chiefs of Staff chair, said that he is a fascist to the core. His former chief of staff says he's a fascist. And the things he's doing, masked men snatching people off the street, not even showing any identification as law enforcement.
Let me ask you a question.
Men dragging women,
Let me ask you a question.
children into vans. Fascism.
You've made this point.
I will stand by that any day.
Let me ask you a question about immigration. It's a very interesting topic at the moment, as you rightly observe.
Now,
what are the fruit you...
I don't care. And I think Joy's going to bring it up. The fact that, what's his name? J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance called Trump a fascist, Hitler or some shit. And every time somebody brings that up, Piers Morgan said, whatever. Whatever. We know. Piers Morgan has yet criticized J.D. Vance for calling Trump a Nazi. He doesn't give him this kind of energy. When a lot of people is just siding with J.D. Vance, like, oh shit, yeah, I can see what he see, but he gets a pass, and everybody else get the question. Why are you talking like that? Why are you calling him Hitler? It's crazy. It's crazy.
As somebody who is an exceptional alien, is how it's described on my visa to the United States, but I have a home in Los Angeles, and I love America. I've lived and worked there for 20 years. My view is that most Americans, I think instinctively, do not have a problem with the principle of deporting undocumented workers who commit crimes in the United States.
That happens
already.
already,
Would you have
Piers.
a problem with that as a policy?
As a policy, if people get a hearing and they go through a process, sure. But that is not what's happening.
No, I'm going to come to the next bit.
Hold on, that is not what's
Joy,
happening.
I'm going to finish my point.
It's not what's happening.
I wanted to see what you were prepared to agree with me about, because I think it's healthy to the debate, right? So we both agree about that, which is good. Now, I don't think that they should have pressed the button on deporting as many illegal immigrants who are there undocumented, but who've not committed crimes in the way that they're currently doing. That they should have sorted, first of all, people who are in the country illegally who commit crimes and deported them. Everyone would agree with it. But I agree with you. The wholesale pulling of people off the street who may have been in America for many years, got families in America who pay taxes in America. You only have to talk to farmers to understand the devastating impact this may have. So on that, I would agree with you. But I also think that, and I hope you would agree, that Donald Trump has pretty much stopped completely the number of people coming over the southern border illegally. And under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, over a 4-year period, as many as 10 million people are believed to have come over the southern border illegally. Now, you must surely think that the Trump way of securing the southern border is better for the United States than the Biden way.
First of all, if those are Donald Trump's numbers about how many people came in over the southern border, I don't buy them at all.
What numbers do you buy?
Anything Donald Trump said.
What numbers do you buy?
And let me go on.
Well, how many do you think it was?
Let's just say it was.
Well, Joy, how many do you think it was?
No, let's just say
I don't believe that the number's down to 0. I don't. I know the numbers at least. Well, you can't say that because they didn't come over the southern border. But 30-some immigrants didn't enter this country. But I don't believe them. I don't believe them. Prove it. Prove that not one migrant made it over the border since January. Go ahead. Prove it. I ain't going to say that it didn't happen. I just don't. I need to see the evidence.
I'm going to stipulate to you, let's just say it was 10 million people. Are you asking your viewers to believe that 10 million people were in the country raping and robbing rather than working on farms, working on construction sites.
No, I didn't say that.
We have to recall that there, so again, being in the United States without documents is a civil offense. It is not a felony. And so the reality is, if it was 10 million people, we have to ask ourselves, what is the pull? America has always run, from the time that people who looked like me were enslaved, on cheap labor, on free labor to start itself as an empire, and then on a constant pull of cheaper and cheaper labor. That is a pull that is pulling people over. And then, of course, there's the push of the destabilization in Central and South American countries. That is the push. That push-pull is a fact of life. And it was a fact of life when Donald Trump was president the first time.
But what's that got to do with how many come over the southern border illegally?
No, the difference is now, if you let's say where you end all undocumented migration to the United States, all that would do is put a burden on the pull part of it, because you have industries that desperately rely on farm labor, on construction labor.
But why shouldn't you have a system? But Joy, why
raising it to zero does nothing to change my life.
But Joy, why shouldn't people?
But what it's done is
why shouldn't people? Let me just ask you, why shouldn't people do what I had to do when I wanted to live and work in America? I mean, just go through a proper process and get accepted to be allowed to come into the United States. That is.
Pierce, hey, stupid. There's a number of videos of people getting snatched up at their hearing. Where they go periodically, like what, twice a year or something, once every 6 months or some shit, I don't know. And they're being in compliance with the rules that they have been given them in order to be in the United States. In order to be in the United States as an undocumented immigrant, you must show up to these hearings. Sounds like that's what they're doing, Pierce. They're following the rules. It's taken them a long time to get the documents that you probably secured. Well, we don't know about how you secured them. That's neither here nor there. I'll look into it. But for you to sit there and be like, oh, they all just came over illegally. Oh, none of them deserve to be here. Let's just talk about the 10 million that you're talking about. Then why do we have so many people being locked up, snatched up out of their hearing? Please tell me. Because that don't seem like somebody that snuck across the border and tried to get away and just went and got a job under the table and never went to the courthouse to check in. So yeah, I think he know he a racist. He just don't care no more. It's that point in time in the life where all that shit can come out, and you will be celebrated or hated. And let's see what outweighs what. And yeah, a lot of these folks, they don't really care. They really want all Mexicans out of here.
This is how a normal,
Haitians, Venezuelans, anybody that is dark-skinned in the global south.
Control border works. So what you seem to be suggesting is that because America's economy needs a lot of workers, we should simply have a system where anyone can come in. And if that's not your belief, then how would you regulate the southern border?
I'm going to say to you that if the policy were applied the same across the board, that would be one thing. It's not. Marco Rubio's grandfather didn't do it the right way. He overstayed an order of deportation, stayed anyway, and was allowed to remain in the country. Elon Musk's brother says, and Elon Musk disputes it, but Elon Musk's brother said they overstayed their student visa, started a business which would have been illegal for someone on a student visa, were allowed to stay. They are white migrants, and somehow that was okay.
And given American taxpayer money to become one of the richest person in the world. A migrant, illegal, overstayed his visa.
What we're seeing is a selective enforcement of this outrage. If the person is brown, they need to be rounded up and put into quote unquote alligator Alcatraz, a concentration camp in Florida. If the person is white, we let them start a business and become Elon Musk. What's happening is that Stephen Miller has said he wants 3,000 people a day rounded up, and he has said he doesn't care where they have to get them. He wants ICE going into Home Depot. He wants them going on construction sites, going onto farms, and dragging brown people and into detention. They're putting people in private prisons that are unregulated by the federal government. We've heard stories of people eating rotten food, having to use
But you still haven't told me what you would do.
You're not going to address what she's saying? No? Rotten food. Hey, Pierce, rotten food. No, you don't care? All right. Just pay attention. Just pay attention to how he's like, yeah. But you didn't answer my question.
And so the reality is what we have right now is we have a system of literal terrorism against brown migrants simply because Stephen Miller does not want them in the country.
As you know, they're not all brown, as you know.
Well, the vast majority are.
Well, but you haven't answered my question also. If you were running the southern border, if you were in charge, if you were the border czar, what would you do? Would you let them all in, or would you stop some of them coming in?
The first thing that I would do is to look at some of the actual legislation that's been put on the table before. You have a very small number of immigration judges who deal with people who are presenting themselves for asylum, which, by the way, is perfectly legal. It is legal to present yourself for asylum, but there are scarcely any judges doing that work. Multiple times, bipartisan, members of Congress, the House and Senate, have tried to pass legislation that would increase the number of those judges. If you actually had enough people to adjudicate asylum cases at the border, it would make that easier. I've actually been to the southern border and looked at the process and looked at the previous version of detention that Donald Trump did in his first term. First of all, it was horrific, and it was abusive even then to children. But
y'all remember that? He was ripping children away from their family, separating families. Y'all remember that? Putting them in detention centers then? That was Trump 1.0. That happened.
And when he was outraged by Barack Obama's deportation program of over
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that Barack Obama made some compromises that I do not think were morally sound in order to try to lure Republicans into doing the immigration reform.
Do you know how many people he deported?
Since Marco Rubio joined the debate.
Do you know how many people Barack Obama deported in 8 years?
I'm sure you're going to tell me.
Well, why don't you guess?
You see? And look at how he think he got somebody. Won't you guess? First, he asked her, were you just this outraged during Obama's immigration policy? She said, yeah, I was. Conversation over with. Right? You would think, all right, yeah, she agrees with you, stupid. Conversation done? No, he want to go into this whole shit. I didn't get her. Fuck. All right. I bet you still don't know this number. Let me see if I know. Do you know how many people Barack Obama deported? No, everybody's not fixated on Barack Obama's fucking presidency like you. Like you. Those are numbers you shouldn't have off top of your head. Think about that. Why do you have those numbers off top of your head? If identity politics is the whole conversation. If you're really trying to criticize Joy for having identity politics, why do you have the number of migrants a black president had during his presidency? Why do you have that number in your head?
I don't know and don't care.
Well, hang on. You don't know and you don't care. You've just given me...
Because it's not the issue. You're
trying
to make the issue the southern border.
Joy. You've just given me... Joy.
Joy. The point is...
Joy.
Barack Obama was not dragging women and babies,
go on.
nursing babies apart and taking...
Joy, you've just given me...
I'm sure going to tell me it's your main issue.
You've just given me
but it's not my main issue. My main issue is that what we're seeing...
I'm trying to finish my sentence. You've just given me a lengthy monologue attacking Donald Trump's aggressive deportation.
She just gave you an answer that she was critical of Biden's or Obama's deportation program. Stupid. And that whole joy. Nigga, you ain't never had that much joy in your life. It's razor lip piece. Listen.
Policy. And I've simply said to you, there was a Democrat, a black Democrat president of the United States for 8 years.
Black.
I'm simply asking, given that you're obviously all over every detail of the Trump deportation policy, and given you were on the airwaves in America on a daily basis through Obama's tenure, how many people did he deport in 8 years?
Oh my gosh,
I do not know. You'll tell me. I'm sure.
Have a guess.
But it's probably more than 1 million people. I'm quite certain.
Have a
because
guess.
I think each 2 million.
Right, it was 3 million.
Oh my God.
Okay. And your point being what?
My point being, are you as shocked by that as you?
Nick, you didn't hear when she said that? This is what peers do. This is what he does. He would bring people on his show, right? If he knows that they're going to have a point, a valid point, he don't want it to be made on his show. He don't want to have a debate. So he will eat up as much of this interview time with some bullshit ass gotcha moment that doesn't even matter because the answer was given minutes ago. So I don't know. He literally gonna get the same answer he got 5 minutes ago before he went all in his rant. Like, Joy, you don't know, ha, you don't even know. Why don't you take a guess? That was a close guess. It was not 2 million, it was 3 million. Oh my God, bro, go to sleep.
Are claiming to be by Trump?
If
you're stressed about...
Sorry, hold on. We're gonna fast forward to his
backing down to business owners and people and USA.
Sorry. But yeah, I think it's embarrassing. I think it's embarrassing for him. That's how he did everybody with the Gaza situation. He was just sitting there all day, every day, talking about, do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn Hamas? It was crazy.
Deportations
many of them were brown.
That are shocking. Wait a minute. Can I answer your question?
The majority were brown.
One moment. It is not deportation in and of itself that is what is shocking to people. There are two things that are shocking. Number one, well, I'll do three. One, it is not deportation to render someone to a third-party country they have no connection to.
I agree.
Rendering people to El Salvador is shocking.
And that's why he's coming back.
That was not done by Biden.
That's why that guy's coming back.
It was not done by George W. Bush. All right, so that is shocking.
He said that's why that guy came back. You think that guy came back because you agree? Pierce, you had segments, Pierce, talking shit, Pierce, about Albrego Garcia. You did. You were sitting there talking about, why are Democrats rallying behind this MS-13 gang member? That was you, Pierce. You did. Now you're trying to sit here and say, I agree. I feel you. That's why he came back. Look, we ain't no harm, no foul. Think about the irony. The motherfucker, Joy just told him that she agrees with Obama's deportation situation. 5 minutes before he went on a rant, he's like, "Oh no, I feel you. I agree. Yeah, that was kind of fucked up back then when Obama did it." He didn't even let that sit and go on to another topic. He was like, but do you even know how many? I don't know if you even know how many. But when she says straight up that people should not be deported to a country they've never been, he want to shut her up. I agree. Hold on, we ain't got to go into it. I agree. Why would you go in on something that I agree with you on? Piers, his time is limited. His respect is limited on YouTube. There's going to be a plethora of videos. There are already some. Some people just like the show and they like, hey man, Piers Morgan just trying to have a nuanced take. Yeah, right. There's gonna be a moment of awakening for Piers Morgan, and he has blood on his hands. He does. When it came down to this Palestinian and Israeli situation in Gaza, Piers Morgan was one of the main spearheaders of Israel have the right to kill all those innocent Palestinians. That was Piers. That was him. This guy, him. When everything comes to a head and history judges those kind of people, oh yes. His backpedaling of Gaza and his criticism of Israel is not going to save him. It's not going to save him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number two,
that's why he came back.
Well, that's only one person. They deported more than 200
the case you're talking
people
about, he's come back
to that gulag. Yes, they deported more than 200 people, 70% of whom CBS has determined had no criminal record
whatsoever.
whatsoever.
But why are you changing the subject from Obama's deportation policy?
I'm telling you the three things.
We agree.
That are shocking are not deportations themselves. It's deporting people, number one, to third-party countries like the Sudan, where they have no ties whatsoever, simply for the cruelty of doing it, essentially paying third-party countries.
But I asked you about your response to Obama. Obama deported more people than any president in American history.
If someone receives... Piers, my family are immigrants. If there's the deportation process, at the end of that adjudication, you are deemed to be deportable and need to be deported.
But you're missing my point, Joy. Boy, I'm trying to politely ask
That's why you haven't made the point
yet. Condemn?
It's different from what we're seeing now.
But here's my point. In the interest of fairness, do you condemn Barack Obama's deportation policy, given that he deported more people? Let me finish. More people than any American president in history in his 8 years.
What an absolutely disingenuous argument, Piers. Because what people are yes. No, I'm gonna explain it if you'll allow me.
You didn't even know how many he deported.
Exactly.
Because I just
it's not that big a deal.
That, first of all,
that's the point. Stupid. These people are so dumb. Piers, the reason why it won't be condemned is because it wasn't as egregious. You're talking about a 2-term president, 8 whole years to deport 3 million people. Do you recall any videos when Obama was deporting Hispanics of him sending ICE agents to Home Depot parking lots? I could be wrong. I was young back then. I was younger. But I don't recall any ICE agents going and snatching up farm workers. I don't recall that. It almost seemed like Obama did it smoothly and got the numbers that Stephen Miller is trying to get. Maybe y'all should ask Obama how to do this shit without so much noise.
I think it was a moral compromise that I disagree with vehemently
that
Barack Obama made to try to lure Republicans who were never going to really come to the table for immigration reform. I disagree with what he did. But if there's a process for deportation, that's one thing. Okay. If you are rendering people with no process, if you are rendering them to third parties, and if you are kidnapping them off the streets, as if this is 1930s Germany or South Africa in the 1980s, that is what I find objectionable and I find fundamentally fascist and will stand by that every day. What Donald Trump is doing is a moral horror.
I hear you.
And if you can't see that, I don't know what to tell you.
I hear you. All I tell you is that Obama deported a hell of a lot more people
than
that isn't
Trump,
the issue. The issue
and most
is,
of them were
was there a
brown.
process
And last time
for
I checked, Barack
deportation?
Obama isn't white. So it's not...
Identity politics. There you go. There you go, Piers. Identity politics. There you go. That's you. That's you. Hey. That's you.
May not be
and
a race thing in the way
Barack Obama being black? Now you're the one obsessed with race. You want to make this a racial argument. The argument is that the Obama administration,
you made it a racial
the Biden
argument.
administration, because Donald Trump fixates
you said Trump
black people,
is deporting people based on their skin color.
Well, it is what he does. He
Right.
plays
So
racial
did
politics
Obama.
as a matter of course.
Obama did it too, only worse.
It's what his politics were all about.
Okay.
His politics are about removing as many non-white people clearly from the country as they can, 3,000 a
And
day.
that's what Obama's policy was too.
Apparently the policy here.
That's what Obama's policy was too.
No, it was not. And there was no rendering of people. There was a process for deportation. And you know that it's materially different.
As we sit here, Obama deported more people pro rata per year than Trump has ever done.
How many did he render to a third party? How many did he render to a third party? Because what he's also doing
You're
is
outraged
using
by
the
Trump, but
cruelty
you're
of
not
the
outraged by Obama.
I'm absolutely outraged by.
She should have let that resonate. That's the problem with y'all in these debates. You need to let the point resonate. Let them answer it. Let them fumble. How many of those people were sent to a country that they never been to? And then he can come with this whole, you just not mad at Obama, but you mad at Trump. Hey, stupid. Hey, don't deflect. How many of those people did Obama deport them to a country where they never been to? That way he can sit there, concede 0, and then she can come and say, well, that's what I'm criticizing. Plus all the other shit.
Fascism and by snatching
but
people
Obama
off the
wasn't
streets,
a fascist
no
because
process,
he's
and
not.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
I'm
because
outraged by it.
Obama's got
Absolutely.
brown skin, he's not a fascist. Is that your policy?
Well, that's your simplistic, racialized way of looking at
Actually,
it.
it's
Because
yours
that is
about
what you're
Trump.
doing on this show.
It's yours
of
about
course
Trump.
it is. No,
But
mine is
let's
about
move on.
fascism.
I want to
And
move
Donald
on. 'Cause
Trump is acting like
Think about that. That was his get you. That's his got you. We've been watching this now for 24 minutes. This guy is supposed to be a respected journalist. For 24 minutes, we haven't talked about anything other than this Obama deportation shit for at least 10 of those 24 minutes. You got to think about these people's and how they get their stardom, right? Back in the days, it was just the fact that they can read out loud a prompter. They don't have no actual talents. You see, when he's actually left on his own, there's no script. There's no questions to be asked. He just tries to fill up the airways with bullshit. That was a waste, a big, beautiful waste of Joy's time and his time. You could have got a lot done other than for 15 minutes saying, how do you feel about Obama? How do you feel about Obama's deportation? How do you feel about Obama's deportation? You know how many he deported? You know how many he deported? It's sad. It's sad. And at the end of the day, he going to try to say, I got her, y'all. I got her.
I want to spend the whole time talking about this.
Person that behaves the way he does, trying to take people's citizenship away, denaturalizing. That's Idi Amin behavior. There's a black fascist that you can compare.
Okay, let's move on to. I want to just play a clip of when you lost your job at MSNBC. Let's watch this.
My show had value, and that that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I try not to cry on TV. And whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God.
Right.
And you know, I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
Right. Now, let's see where he goes. Now
look, you're perfectly entitled to be proud of your show. Many people enjoyed your show for many years.
Right.
You know, a lot of people at NBC were briefing that the reason was declining ratings post the election, a 47% decrease in your election, in ratings from pre-election. But you told Mark Lamont Hill on his show this.
After I said on my show that the reason Americans could relate to Ukrainians in a way that they didn't relate to Palestinians, that Ukrainians are white. And so watching white people get their schools bombed was, hit different.
Right.
That hit our ratings. I mean, it definitely, we could see the loss of white viewers from that moment that I said that. So they were like, we don't like the name calling. And also I'm a black woman. So, I mean, I'm sure it makes him angrier, when I say things. Maybe because I am a global South person myself, I mean, as a black person, we have a different empathy toward other global South people when they are suffering. And so we're going to come at that story from a different angle and in a different way and with different kinds of empathies. And I think that's not always received very well in the news business.
Now, Joy, I mean, look, let's be honest. I don't think you were fired after all those years because of your skin color or because you're a black woman. I think you were fired because your show just got increasingly unpopular. It happens all the time in TV. That's why you got let go. Why play the race card?
Pierce. She didn't. What? Huh? Am I tripping? Could I be? I could be tripping. You just played a clip of Joy telling Mark Lamont Hill that there was a segment where she said that the white people are sympathizing with the Ukrainians because they're white and not the Palestinians because they are black. And they can see in real time the ratings drop. That's what she said. They can see it in real time. When she said that statement, the ratings dropped. The ratings dropped. Pierce. The ratings dropped. She didn't play the race card. She agrees with you that the ratings dropped from what she said. And that white folks left her show because they felt that she was being insensitive or pointing out something that she shouldn't be pointing. She's not saying, oh, they fired me because I was black. No, they fired her because white folks didn't like what she said about Ukraine. What are you talking about? I don't think this thing is, I don't think he's that smart.
First of all, I love the fact that your play the race card is your version of the race card.
Right.
You literally are so fixated on trying to racialize conversations with me, Pierce. I find it actually quite charming.
You racialize more conversations in your tenure at MSNBC than any host in history.
All right, Mark. All right, Pierce. And the bottom line is you take an entire conversation that I had with Mark Lamont Hill and pick the bits that you can racialize because this is your shtick. And I get that this is your shtick.
You racialize everything, Joy. Come on.
I get it. I understand this is your shtick, Pierce. And listen, game recognizes game. I get this is your game.
It's not my shtick.
And the bottom line,
it was your shtick.
It is your shtick, and everyone knows that it is.
Shtick.
Piers, we
people
understand
got bored
what
with
it is. And it is so interesting to me that you yourself, as a white European, find that when people of color talk about race, that you believe is racializing conversations.
Right.
But when people like you fixate on, well, Barack Obama was a black president,
Right.
why don't you object to that? That is racializing a conversation about the former president of the United States. But you can't put your, and I'm sure you find that charming and funny.
I find
You
it hilarious
cannot
because
see
you're the
your
one.
own-
You're
Well,
the one
you
who
and
said
your
you're
friend
the one who said Donald Trump.
You and your friend Donald
You
Trump.
said Donald
you and
Trump
your
is a
friend
white
Donald Trump
fascist.
Are so he is a well. I agree
And
with
yet
Mark
when Obama
Milley,
did the
who
same
is,
thing,
last time I checked, is
I'm not allowed
black.
to mention his skin
I
color.
agree with his former chief of staff, who last I checked was not black and said he's fascist. And
Right.
Mark Milley said he's fascist to the core. So
Okay.
I happen to
Okay.
agree, and I know this is what it's important to you, with two very white gentlemen about Donald Trump's fascist tendencies.
Okay.
If that makes you sad and uncomfortable, I can't help you.
No,
Pierce.
it doesn't
There's
make me
nothing
sad
I
and
can do about
uncomfortable.
it.
I think it makes you a little bit of a hypocrite, but that's different. Now, President Trump reacted to your departure by saying low-life chairman of Comcast, Brian Roberts, the owner of ratings-challenged NBC and MSNBC, has finally gotten the nerve up to fire one of the least talented people in television, the mentally obnoxious racist Joy Reid, based on her ratings, which were virtually non-existent, should have been canned long ago, along with everyone else who works there. What's your response to that?
Now, mind
Many
you,
of us carry around bulky water.
Joy Reid just got an award. Hold on real quick. Joy Reid receives award. When did she? All right. Let's see. Recognition for her work on the readout, her book, Medgar and Marley, I guess, and her contributions to media and journalism. Joy Reid has received multiple awards throughout her career. Hold on real quick. I want to pause this. When was the last time she just received this award? Let me see. 2016. Hold on. So she was that the last time? Let me see. When was the last time Joy Reid received an award? Huh. Joy Reid recently won 2 awards at the 56th NCAACP Image Award in 2025. She won 2 awards this year. Ow. I mean NAACP. I said NCAA. The NAACP Image Awards. She won 2 of them. Mr. Morgan. We know who you are. We don't have to even discuss it. We know you're a bigoted, hateful guy.
If you are, I mean, it's fascinating to me that you think it's important that I care what Donald Trump says about me.
Right.
It's a badge of honor. If he dislikes me, then I think I'm doing something right. I have zero respect for Donald Trump, and
Right.
therefore, if he feels the same way about me, then the feelings are quite mutual, and I'm very, very proud of that and happy with it.
Okay, I want to play a clip. This is you talking about, you attacking parents. You spoke out about their concerns about gay and paedophilia pornography books being placed in school libraries.
The question I'm asking is, what is the expertise that you have and other Moms for Liberty advocates have to decide that a book, an award-winning book like All Boys Aren't Blue, isn't appropriate for students to read? What is your expertise?
What a tragic story of a young man who's anally raped by his adult family member. So you have incest, rape, pedophilia. Joy, you said you'd let me answer, so I'm going to answer
Please
for you. In what context is a strap-on dildo acceptable for public school? I mean, that's my question to you. Tell me what the context around the strap-on dildo or the rape of a minor child by a teacher.
Hold on a second.
No,
Wait,
we're talking about public school.
One moment.
All right.
Now, there's also a second clip. This is you talking about Republicans exploring
Nuance. That book does not belong in public schools. Simple as that. See that? Boom. Pick a different book, Joy. Pick a different book that they ban to try to be like, hey. Because that book right there, that one don't belong.
Exploiting concerns by minors who identify as transgender. And you said this was an old age tradition which Nazi Germany did. Let's take a look.
In fact, there are more kids who have been exposed to gun violence, estimated at 3 million, than there are transgender Americans of all ages in total.
Oh, my God.
Targeting trans people isn't new. It is an age-old tradition, which Nazi Germany did with brutally violent ends in the 1930s.
Now, the confusing part of all this, Joy, is
Where's
what
the lie?
you really think about the LGBTQ plus, whatever it now is, community, right? Because as you know, when you started commentating about this, appearing to be a big ally, a lot of stuff emerged which came from...
It sounds like he's trying to discredit her and say that her stance on homosexuality was a fake. It was for TV, and she's actually homophobic, and she don't want her people to know it. So she tries to hide under this image of a public figure. but she really feels like two men kissing is disgusting. Okay. Where's the lie? Hold on. This is about to get funny. It is disgusting. But like I said, that book don't belong in school. Was Joy Reid really told the line, the MSNBC gay line, and she's really homophobic? All right. Then she one of us. No offense. Not like that. But let's see what happens, because I don't know. I want to see where he land this plane.
Put up in a blog between 2007 and 2009, one of which said, most straight people cringe at the sight of two men kissing. Another said, I don't want to watch the two male characters in Brokeback Mountain. You were talking about having sex. Does that make me homophobic? Probably. You referred to the then Florida governor as Miss Charlie and featured the tag gay politicians. Now, you said at the time when all this emerged, I genuinely don't believe I wrote those hateful things because they're completely alien to me. I hired cybersecurity experts to see if somebody manipulated my words on my former blog. And the reality is they've not been able to prove it. Now you're not at MSNBC. Now you're on your own, doing your own thing, and you don't have to worry about repercussions and stuff. Are you prepared to finally come clean and just admit that was your blog and you did say those things?
You know, Pierce, I might have known that you would use this opportunity and interview and that this was your purpose, right? This is your purpose. And that's fine. This is your show and you can do whatever you like. You know, I could sit here and go on and fight with you about your strange, weird obsession with Meghan Markle, but I won't do that because that would be rude. But what I will say is,
if you want to.
We can do that as well.
Sure.
But the point being,
that dude hate that black woman. Boy, he hate Meghan Markle with a passion because he knows what it means. That's that black woman who's taking over them white folks' royalty. Oh no, there's a black baby who has a last name. No, that's how they feel. They don't like the fact that those black babies are going to have royal status. That's the only reason he is mad at Meghan Markle. That's it. Nothing else. That's it.
That I was very open with my employer at the time about what happened with that old site, which I stopped writing in, before I even came back into the NBC family. And what I have not really talked about publicly, but what I can tell you is that I had a very legitimate reason for being concerned about it because I was also on the radio at that time. And the things that I was literally talking about on the radio were quite the opposite of the things that were in that site. That is the reason that we began investigating what was going on with that site. And there was also someone who I do not know, who I still do not know, who had login access to my site for years that we did not even discover because I hadn't looked at the site for years. I don't know who that is. I don't know why they had access to the site. But had I not been open about that, I would have been definitely fired or there would have been some repercussions. I was open with my company about that. I've been very open. Everyone who knows me knows about it. And so if you want to argue with me about an old blog site, that's fine. And I'll take responsibility. I just asked you if you did write it. And hold on. And I'm willing to take responsibility for anything that was on that site.
Did you say them?
For you,
did you say those things?
Wait. Listen, what I'm going to say is very simply
you said them.
What I'm going to say is very simply this, Piers.
You know you did.
The point that you're attempting to make
You just spun me an absolute load of old flannel.
The reason that you are trying to go here is that you're trying to defend the idea that Moms for Liberty and these other organizations can take books that are not pornography, that are not pornographic.
No, I'm just trying to see. I'm just trying to see whether you like to hold people to account, and I'm just trying to ask you
myself to
questions about you being held to account.
For everything that was in that site, and I took responsibility for everything that was in that site, and I still take responsibility for everything that was in that site. I find anything that harms the LGBTQ community that was in that site repugnant. I apologize for it. I take full responsibility for it. But the point that I made in my conversation with the woman from Moms for Liberty is that they are making themselves the expert on books, which they are deeming pornographic by using a site called booklooks.com, looking for words in the in the book that make them uncomfortable, and then attempting to ban books by the hundreds.
And out of interest, but just to be clear,
And so I asked her,
do you think books, all right, do you think school children at school should have access to books in their library which involve strap-on dildos?
Yes or no?
Again, you're taking a book that has multiple subjects, and you're taking this award-winning book and dumbing it down to that.
I just asked you a simple question.
You may feel uncomfortable, and
I don't care if it's an award-winning book, Joy. Get that shit out of the fucking classroom. There's a lot of award-winning books, even though it was what you want to try to say is a small portion of the book out of a large book. Get it out of the classroom. Kids don't need to fucking read about that, Joy. Come on, Joy. No. And you got to think about the fact that our schools, which, you an MSNBC host or ex-MSNBC host, that's all our schools is about. Grooming. That's it. Grooming. That's it. I pledge allegiance to groom. That's it. So when you got these schools that are okay with putting little boys in dresses and reading books about a boy with I can't even say it. What? And then we got these trainees reading books to kids. Little story time shit. That's grooming. It is. So, Joy, I kind of need you to answer that. I need you to answer that. Because that's one of the main reasons why Kamala Harris lost the election. Y'all were rallying behind them weirdos. And sorry, it looked bad.
Bottom line is, these books that were published by publishers who had an opportunity to say no, looked at these books. These are award-winning books, and I think parents should have the opportunity to opt their children out if they don't feel comfortable reading those books, but that children who are old enough and who are of age and can choose the books they want to read and may feel seen in a book that you might object to ought to have the opportunity to read that book. That shouldn't be your decision. It shouldn't be Moms for Liberty's decision. I think each parent can make the decision for their own children, and I don't think that woman from Moms for Liberty or her organization should make that decision for other people's children. People ought to make decisions for their own children. And by the way, one more thing I'll add is that in the state of Florida, parents can opt their children out of reading books that they don't want to read.
All right, let me ask you.
She could have done that like any other parent.
Have you watched Brokeback Mountain?
No.
Okay. I mean,
what is the point of that?
Well, because you said I don't want to watch the two male characters in Brokeback Mountain having sex.
Okay, so what does me watching Brokeback Mountain have to do with that book, whether or not it is pornographic?
No, nothing to do with the book.
That is a book that people can have the opportunity to read if they so choose.
No, I'm not talking about the book.
I do not understand how an organization can make a decision. It is not about the movie. It is about whether or not Moms for Liberty
I'm not talking about the book.
The organization who should make decisions for other people's children.
I'm not talking about the book, as you know.
Whether I watched the movie or not makes absolutely no difference.
I'm talking about you posting on your blog that you wouldn't watch Brokeback Mountain because you don't want to see two male characters having sex. Does that make me homophobic? Probably. Most straight people cringe at the sight of two men kissing. Your words, not mine, Joy.
Okay.
And your point is?
That maybe that makes you a bit of a hypocrite when you're taking the position of being an ally for the LGBTQ community. And actually, the best way to handle it, I would argue, is just to say, you know what? Actually, I did write that at the time. They're not my views now. I've learned, I've evolved, I've moved on. Trying to pretend even now that you didn't write it is preposterous. And I think you know that.
The bottom line is what I've said, and I will say it again, is that I take full responsibility for everything that was on that site. I'm deeply apologetic for the things that were on that site that hurt people, and I take responsibility for it because it was my site. And that's the end of that. And my views, as you know, and as I've said on television, on air, are quite different from the views that you just read. And that's the end of that.
Okay. Let's just end with this. Not everyone was upset when you were fired. Plenty of those white conservative men that you like so much seem quite happy. Let's just take a look at this clip.
Yeah, Pierce, you swelling, bro. He ain't. All these gotcha moments were like failed attempts. He ain't got.
Joy Reid.
This weirdo.
Probably the nastiest figure on MSNBC. The most left, the most vicious against conservatives and white people and men and all the rest. She has just
White
been
men
canned, fired,
people, men,
kicked
and
to
all
the
the rest.
side of the road. Her show is over. This saddens me a little bit because I did not yet have the opportunity to go on it. I am celebrating that there is no longer a market for her disgusting product. That's what I'm genuinely happy about. There has been a major shift. Her show and shows like her show no longer have value. And that's not just because of Joy Reid's favorite villains, you know, the evil white man or the Christians or the conservatives. It's because, like, no one watches her show.
Mike, this is Michael Knowles. Turning Point USA. Mike, Ben Shapiro's guy. Aren't you guys going out of business? Is it Turning Point? Or it's the other racist one? Yeah, I think, yeah. All these they're going out of business. What's the name of it? Hold on. Let me get this right. Let's get this right.
So, Joy,
hold on. Let's get this right. Daily Wire. That's what it is. Daily Wire. Sorry.
I've actually got Michael Knowles.
Daily Wire is going out of business, right? Hold on.
Waiting in the
wing. Piers, shut up. Hold on. Is Daily Wire going out of business? Okay. So wait. It said Daily Wire is not going out of business. While Jeremy Boring, co-CEO, is stepping down, the company is planning on a growth investment in 2025. This is old news, bro. They just said that it was going bust and they were selling shit. What's going on with people saying that Daily Wire is the... This had led to Daily Wire likely losing money year after year. In the past few months, we see evidence that they are... come on, man. Hold on. The Daily Wire reportedly seek investors. So, yeah. The rise and fall of the Daily... Look, so listen to this. No, the Daily Wire is not going out of business. While Jeremy Boring, co-CEO, is stepping down, the company is planning a growth investment in 2025. No. You guys are losing money. You're losing money. You're going down. Nobody is watching your content no more. Michael knows there is not a market for your content any longer. So now you guys are seeking investors. You're seeking investors. You, Michael Knowles, you are going to be in a same position as Joy Reid, but you, sir, have no following, no awards, nothing. So, nobody cares what you have to say.
Great.
Is there anything you'd like to say to him?
No.
What did you make of his critique of your show?
Don't care.
Well, I mean, the reality is that obviously people watched the show. And obviously that's the reason that the show was on for 4.5, nearly 5 years. So if he didn't like the show, I guess, sorry you didn't enjoy it, but I really am not that interested in his views on it.
Okay, well, we've got Michael there. Michael, anything you want to say to Joy?
Okay.
Yes, wonderful to be here, Joy. Very nice to meet you. And I guess I would agree with Joy's take. People watched the show in the past tense, and now there's no longer a market for that absolutely vile content. And I think that's good for the culture broadly. And now we can all chat on Pierce's show.
Joy?
Wow.
The reality...
And look how messy Pierce is. Michael? Joy? Like, bro, that shit means nothing to actual humans, bro. Look at Michael Knowles. He just sitting there. I think I got one. I got her. Oh, there's a market and there's no market for that. We could talk on Pierce show. Bro, you're trash. He knows he's trash. It's weirdo, bro. Pierce is the most messiest motherfucker. And Joy said it. Joy said straight up, I understand this is your stick. You're going to bring up this. You're going to bring up that. Now you're allowing Michael to come in and disrespect her. She don't even know this guy, but he get to come in and talk to her and spit his little spiel. Give her a little bit of info on him so she can have her take. No, just let her be bashed, huh? That nigga Michael's trash.
The reality is, Michael, the content that you and peers like to trade in is grievance. And the grievance that white Americans have, that they have to deal with
I'm not American.
Diversity, that they have to deal with.
Joy,
You
this
just said
isn't
you have
a
a home
grievance.
and
I'm
love
British. I'm
America.
celebrating.
And by the way, white grievance is very good for your bottom lines. It's very good for your bank accounts. And so having me here to be able to continue to traffic in that is your shtick. That is what you do. That's what you do, Pierce. And so it's great. And I'm sure you find it delightful and fun to say it. But the reality is, Pierce, that is what you all traffic in.
I have to correct you.
Well, first of all, I'm not a white American. I think as my accent may
no, I know that you're European.
And I'm a tan
I'm British.
My only grievances are tan
and secondly,
grievances.
I don't think anyone, Michael, I will let you respond, but I don't think any host in the history of cable news has waged more grievance than Joy Reid. So the idea that you're now hectoring us about feeling aggrieved about things, you spent years being aggrieved about absolutely everything.
Excuse me, but your favorite president, the president who you completely support, is nothing but grievance.
My favorite president was Abraham Lincoln.
Was grievance. His entire campaign was grievance. Well, your former boss on the
I'm not Donald
or whatever
Trump.
you want to call him, your friend. The bottom line is that Donald Trump's entire campaign was about grievance. It was about white America feeling they'd lost their country and they need to take it back. It was about white America feeling that diversity was a threat to their children being able to go to Harvard. Their
and you know what, Joy? In the end,
diversity was
in the end,
and that is the reason
that
you all glom onto him and use him to further your own agenda.
Actually, in the end, most Americans, as you know, most Americans, having voted for him in 2016, and after Trump spent 4 years in the wilderness, and we watched the Democrats run the United States of America, people took a look at that in America, and then they voted for Trump second time round in bigger numbers, including a record number of Latinos, who last time I checked were not white. Anyway, Joy Reid, I'm going to leave it with you. Thank you for coming on Uncensored. Next time, I'm sure we can move on from the stuff we've talked about today and have a more current debate, perhaps, about other issues. But I appreciate you coming on and facing the music.
So Nina Turner actually said...
it's good to see you. Thank you very much. Well, let me come in. I've got Michael and Nina Turner. Nina, you were, fair to say, looking quite aggrieved, ironically, about what you were hearing there. What would you like to say?
You a piece of shit.
Pierce, I mean, my God, the way you were coming at Joy, she handled it beautifully, though.
Yeah.
I think her...
Was I unfair? I mean, did I say anything?
Yeah, Pierce, you were. And it was also unfair for me to be popping up on the screen like this at the last minute on this topic. So I just want your audience to know I didn't get any warning that I was just going to pop up here while you guys were talking that way. Yeah, just unfair. I mean, I feel like you were beating a dead horse, but Joy handled it. She handled it.
Is she a dead horse? Wow.
He was just reading her words back to her, wasn't he?
The topic,
you calling Joy a dead horse?
That ain't working.
No, I am not. I'm talking about the topic. You kept going back and forth on this over and over again. She said they did an investigation.
You don't believe it, Nina. Come on. Nobody does. Nobody believes it. Of course she wrote that stuff in her blog.
Yeah, I'm glad that Nina at least said something to his dumb ass because he deserved all the smoke that he can get. Now, there's an update. Hold on, y'all. We got an update of Alligator Alcatraz. We got a little minor update on Alligator Alcatraz, y'all. Let's see what the media has to say about this one. Is this true? Hold on one second.
Are known as
Alligator Alcatraz. New reporting from the Miami Herald and Tampa Bay Times reveals the sequence of events that led to a 15-year-old boy with no criminal record being held there for 3 days after a traffic stop. Joining me now is Ana Caballos, who is on the byline of that reporting. Ana, tell us more about what you know about what happened there.
Hi. So we found that there was a 15-year-old whose name is Alexis who was arrested in Tampa on July 1st by Florida Highway Patrol troopers, who was later transferred to the custody of federal immigration authorities and later sent to Alligator Alcatraz. We were able to talk to his father, who said that he did not hear from his kid for 3 days while he was in the detention center, but when he got the phone call, he was told by his kid that he had been scared about being separated from a group of adults. He had been in a car. He was riding as a passenger in that vehicle. And so he lied about his age. And when he was telling that to his dad said, no, you need to tell the truth. And he sent a copy of his birth certificate to him. And he was able to access his phone number to show authorities that he was in fact a minor. And then he was transferred out of the facility, but he was there for about 3 days.
Do we know where he is now?
Yes, he's in the custody of the federal government at a shelter for migrant children. He's in the process of being reunited with his father, but it's still unclear as to how that case is going to be playing out. It was the state has said that, that this is the issue of, undocumented immigrants, that they cannot verify their identity sometimes because they do not have basic verifiable documentations, is what they told us in the statement.
What? Yeah, the DeSantis administration doesn't deny that this happened. A spokeswoman for the Florida Division of Emergency Management told you, quote, while at Alligator Alcatraz, an individual disclosed they had misrepresented their age upon arrest to ICE. Immediate action was taken to separate and remove the detainee in accordance with federal protocols. But what, if anything, does this tell us both about how people are arrested and how they're brought to this facility? And by the way, is anything being done to ensure this doesn't happen again?
Right. So that's the big question that is looming over this entire case. The father told us that his son, there's an attorney who's interested in representing the son in this manner, but there is really no indication as to what the state is doing in response to a...
So, you mean to tell me we have a 15-year-old boy, my bad, migrant boy. Gotta say that. That way it could make sense and we ain't gotta have no care in the fucking world. Was arrested, detained in this prison. Mind you, it's America. We have laws and rules and different locations for different kind of offenders, like juveniles. You brought a juvenile, a 15-year-old, who at least or at most go to like a camp facility. But juvenile hall is not a thing for migrants. They have to go to prison. If you are a 15-year-old migrant, you're going to prison. You're not going to juvie. And that's fucked up. I think that's fucked up for real, that we can sit back like this and have this kind of give a shit or lack thereof, no care. And people are getting harmed. A lot of people are getting harmed. Kids are getting harmed. We already had a couple people lose their lives in detention centers. You had people lose their life running away from ICE, bro. And then out of nowhere, we have people fighting back. They're done. They're done watching ICE snatch up their loved ones. And some people, they ain't even heard from in days. So people start fighting back, and there's reports of police agents, ICE agents, being shot out. I seen a video that they said that one agent was being dragged down the street as he was trying to effect an arrest. That's how they said it. He was being dragged by a car as he was trying to drive down or effect the arrest, the driver just wouldn't let go of the gas. He just kept on going as ICE agent held on to his door. Bro, I swear, they're trying to gain sympathy from people that don't give a fuck. We see you guys committing criminal acts. You're snatching up, putting hands on people without identifying yourself. That's like terroristic kidnapping, right? And then when people start fighting back and trying to get away from this masked man, because that's what y'all are, masked men, y'all getting hurt. Y'all are getting hurt. And in the mix of that, you want to cry. Oh my God, look, I got a little boo-boo on my arm. I scraped my elbow when I was trying to detain this migrant. Crazy as shit. Crazy as shit. So look, we got an update. We got another update. We got an update. Trump. He said, allegedly, Trump said, release the files. Uh-oh, P. Mert.
Welcome to the Daily Report on Friday, July 18th. I'm Kelly O'Grady. Release the files. President Trump orders the Attorney General to disclose some records related to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Plus, 10 Americans are on their way home from Venezuela in a prisoner swap deal that frees migrants deported to El Salvador by the U.S. And a deadly explosion at the Los Angeles County Sheriff's training facility. What we know about the victims and the events leading up to the incident.
The president has ordered Attorney General Pam Bondi to release some grand jury testimony in the case against Jeffrey Epstein.
This is a glacial process. It moves so sluggishly you almost can't see it move. It takes months, if not years.
Release some. What do you mean by some? Nah. Release it all.
The Wall Street Journal alleges Trump wrote Epstein a birthday note in 2003, included in a collection of letters.
He's reacting quite strongly to this story from the Wall Street Journal, saying it's a fake story and threatening to sue.
Israel continues.
This is gonna be
Today, President Trump signed the first ever major crypto legislation into law. The president says this will cement America's dominance in the crypto industry. He did not answer shouting questions about Epstein during the ceremony. And on Capitol Hill, the House approved $9 billion in cuts to foreign aid and public.
Hold on. I want to see. What because I do not want to watch 40 minutes of their video. Okay. Stephen Colbert. I want to see where Trump said release the files. I bet you it was at the end of the video. I guarantee you they put it towards the end. I guarantee it.
Independent investigation. It's already claimed something like 650 lives. Tens of thousands of people have been displaced. And the Israelis launched the airstrikes in order to protect, they say, to protect the Druze community. There is a larger Druze community throughout Lebanon and Israel itself.
Yeah, that happened. Hold on.
What the change would mean for states and access to federal funds.
I want to see.
And it didn't pass last year, and they're still trying to get this on the radar in the United States overall. The important part about
I'm not about to go through a 40-minute video trying to find out that one.
I don't know, that team's got to win.
Hold on, let me see if I can see it right here. Nope. I am not about to do that. Give me a second. I'm not about to do that. So supposedly, Trump said, release the files. Release them. And there's going to be a special counsel, I'm guessing. And I want to see if there's a shorter version of that said video. I don't see it anywhere. But yeah, this Epstein shit is not going away. It's not going away. I'm laughing at the fact that I think that's it. I'm laughing at the fact that some people
Imagine being
feel like Trump shouldn't be getting as much heat as he's getting. Oh, man. Trump deserved all the heat for this Epstein shit because he's the one that said that it was about to come out. He's the guy that spearheaded this idea. Don't y'all want to hear about Epstein? I got y'all. Vote me in, and I get y'all the files. He gets in, no files. So, yes, we get to talk about this ad nauseum. Ad nauseum, because he's the one that promised us. So, supposedly the FBI was ordered to flag. He was ordered to flag Epstein's records that mentioned Trump's name. Let's see. Ugh. Fuck.
Fight his way out.
Hold on.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Donald Trump is doing his best to fight his way out of the Jeffrey Epstein mess he has created for himself. Tonight, filing a lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal and News Corp and Rupert Murdoch himself for their report of his alleged birthday letter to Epstein. This while his Department of Justice scrambles to kind of appear to release some of the Epstein files in an effort.
I want to hear what Fox News have to say about that Wall Street Journal letter and Rupert Murdoch threat. Trump threatened to sue Rupert. That's their guy. They're supposed to be like this. I wonder what they have to say.
Obviously to placate his agitated MAGA base. We're going to get to the lawsuit in a minute. But first, the Department of Justice filed a motion to unseal grand jury information from both the case of late child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein and his associate, currently in federal prison, Ghislaine Maxwell. On its face, it appears to be a good thing because people want transparency. They want the files released. But there's a huge caveat here. Not only is the department going to redact identifying information about the victims, which they very well should, they are also going to redact identifying information about anyone else whose name might come up in the documents in question. Quote, the department will work with the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York to make appropriate redactions of victim-related information and other personal identifying information prior to releasing the transcripts. Obviously, all victim-related information absolutely must be redacted. But also, why redact the other personal identifying information? I mean, if you are trying to look like you're transparent, avoid looking like you're covering something up, that seems like probably not the best way to go about it.
Right.
But that is not the only big revelation we got today. The top Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee, which of course oversees the FBI and the Department of Justice, now says that Bureau agents were instructed to flag to DOJ about any Epstein records that mention Donald Trump. Get this is a new letter out today to Attorney General Pam Bondi from Ranking Member Dick Durbin, who writes this, quote, according to information my office received, you pressured the FBI to put approximately 1,000 personnel in its information management division on 24-hour shifts to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records. Adding, quote, my office was told these personnel were instructed to flag any records in which President Trump was mentioned. What?
What?
And all this comes just a day after that shocking story in the Wall Street Journal about what the paper described as a, quote, bawdy birthday letter bearing Trump's signature written to Epstein back in 2003 before his first arrest. Quoting from the Journal's description, the letter bearing Trump's name, which was reviewed by the Journal, is bawdy, like others in the album. It contains several lines of typewritten text framed by the outline of a naked woman, which appears to be hand-drawn with a heavy marker. A pair of small arcs denotes the woman's breasts, and the future president's signature is a squiggly Donald below her waist, mimicking pubic hair. The Journal says that inside the outline of the naked woman was an imaginary typewritten conversation between Trump and Epstein in the third person, which included this line.
Now we know that he's suing for it. He has to continue this lawsuit. If he calls his lawsuit off, that means that the letter does exist.
And Donald, enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? And ended with Trump. A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. What's more, the document in question was at one point in possession of the DOJ, or at the very least, it was something reviewed by Department of Justice investigators in their prosecutions of Epstein and or his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Really?
To be clear, Trump denies having anything to do with the letter. He is suing the Wall Street Journal over this reporting after having threatened to do so. Quoting from the paper, in an interview with the Journal on Tuesday evening, Trump denied writing the letter or drawing the picture. This is not me. This is a fake thing. It's a fake Wall Street Journal story, he said. I never wrote a picture in my life. I don't draw pictures of women, he said. It's not my...
How do you write pictures? Could somebody show me how to write a picture? Anybody?
language. It's not my words. Of course, Donald Trump has written many pictures in his life, like the ones you are seeing on your screen right now. In fact, people have been surfacing these pictures all day. It seems to be kind of like a thing he's into, actually. I've got to say, when the whole Epstein story first resurfaced, with the 2-page memo from the Department of Justice saying, it's done, case closed, nothing to see here, no client list, no nothing,
Look
right?
at that picture.
My first instinct was not that there was an active cover-up of stuff about Donald Trump in the files. I thought most likely was that this administration, people around him, had very cynically hyped up the quote-unquote Epstein files to reach and mobilize a certain quadrant of voters. And then they realized they had overpromised and were going to underdeliver. And man, did they overpromise.
This is something Donald Trump has talked about. The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office. What you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information.
A lot of names. A lot of names. She said it. A lot of names. That means there's more than Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, and Trump. How many names? You said it.
James Comer said yesterday that all the Epstein files are missing. Can you confirm the status on them? We still haven't heard from you.
No, the FBI. Yeah, the FBI, they're reviewing. There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that.
If you're here in Las Vegas, right now we have an...
Pam wants far away from this situation as possible.
But Bondi's obsession with the Epstein files wasn't just her freelancing. It's fair to assume it was coordinated with the White House, right? This is not an independent DOJ.
Right.
Everything Bondi does is coordinated with the White House. The DOJ works for the White House in a way that no...
That's that look she giving them. That's that look. That look is... I know everything. I know everything. You are not about to take me down with you. I will air it out. Because I know all of it. And why is her forehead indented like that? What's going on here? There's something going on right here.
DOJ has ever worked for the White House since Nixon, at least. So then, and that's established, right? The question becomes, well, why did this White House abruptly shift course?
Right.
Why did the DOJ come out last week and say, you know what? Nothing to see here.
Right.
Why has Donald Trump been spiraling ever since? I mean, we know he and Epstein were friends for years. The writer Michael Wolff has a recording of Epstein himself saying he was Trump's closest friend for a decade. Back in 2002, he told the New York Magazine that he'd known him for...
We got to analyze.
Epstein were friends for years.
Is that Ghislaine Maxwell back there? That is Ghislaine Maxwell back there. We got to analyze this video, see if we see anything.
The writer Michael Wolff has a recording of Epstein himself saying he was Trump's closest friend for a decade. Back in 2002, he told the New York Magazine that he'd known him for 15 years. Fun guy. If we couple this with today's revelations from Senator Durbin, which are gobsmacking, that 1,000 FBI agents doing 24-hour shifts, tasked with flagging mentions of Trump in their Epstein research, and then the Wall Street Journal letter, as well as the fact that DOJ wants to redact not just victim-related stuff, but other personal identifying information. Well, I mean, at a certain point, the most plausible explanation for the facts is that there's some kind of cover-up here. The DOJ was tasked with vetting Epstein materials for mentions of the president Donald Trump, his buddy of 15 years, who said that Jeffrey Epstein liked young women. And then subsequently, a decision was made not to release any more information on Epstein. Now, the Wall Street Journal makes clear that we don't know if this letter bearing Trump's signature, previously reviewed by the Department of Justice, was among the documents reviewed by this administration, right? That, like, some FBI agent was like, whoa, gosh, you got to see this, and flagged it. But if it was, and again, that seems plausible if it's in the record, it's hard not to see why they might come to the decision to just shut the whole Epstein thing down. Alex Wagner is an MSNBC senior political analyst. Lisa Rubin is an MSNBC legal correspondent. Just published a new piece.
I want to analyze these videos my damn self. Let's see. Let's see how they was partying. Let's see how Trump and Epstein was partying, because that was some creepy ass shit, bro. I want to see. This is 1 minute. 1 minute. This was when? 1992. Archive footage shot by NBC shows Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago with Jeffrey Epstein in 92. This motherfucking face. Huh? What did he say? Who's the what? It almost looked like Jeffrey Epstein is staring at somebody. Hold on. It almost looked like the whole time he was just staring at someone. And now he's interested in that someone he's staring at. Look at him. Look how creepy he is. Look at how he's staring. Look at how he's staring. Who is he staring at? Said who is what? Hold on. Who's the what? Hold on. I got it. Hold on. We're gonna have to decode this, man. We're gonna have to decode this. What is Trump saying in this video to Jeffrey? He bites his lip. He says, look over there, and bites his lip. What is he pointing at? She's hot, is what he said. Am I tripping? Did he say she's hot? Did Trump say she's hot? See, he pointed over there. We know Jeffrey like little girls. He pointed over there. She's hot. She's hot. What? She what? She what? She what? There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way for somebody to enhance the video and get the vocals. Oh, this is one ugly son of a bitch. And get the video, get exactly what Trump is saying to this creep that got him laughing like this. Ugh. Nah. She's hot. We gotta break this. She's hot. Yeah. We're gonna break that down. Cause hold on, I want to see what this video is. I don't know if this has anything to do with Epstein. This is 1990s, but yeah.
Hi, Ashley.
That was kind of creepy. And I think that he's saying something to Epstein in regards to a female who, how old, we don't know. But
Building a reputation for himself.
Let's see what happens.
Donald Trump is the Hugh Hefner of the 90s. In the 1990s, Donald Trump was building a reputation for himself as a ladies' man.
For an older person, he's very attractive.
He may be the most eligible bachelor in America. Please welcome Donald Trump.
Gone were the days when he was known primarily as the real estate mogul of New York.
Remember the 80s? The yuppies, the buyouts, the junk bonds, and especially the Donald.
The man who was the darling of the 80s is seen in the 90s as a man in trouble, and he knows it.
The drama started when Donald began cheating on his wife, Ivana Trump, with aspiring actress Marla Maples. After an ugly public falling out, Donald and Ivana divorced in 1992, with some reports that Ivana got millions from the split.
Donald Trump's former or current girlfriend, depending on what day it is sharing all her secrets for staying in shape.
Donald eventually married Marla, 2 months after she gave birth to a baby girl. But by the end of the decade, Trump was single again, and he seemed to enjoy the dating scene.
The reputation of Donald Trump, the man who dates a different woman every year.
I don't do that. I mean, I've been with a number of women, but it's been over a fairly long period of time. I've had great relationships with women.
If you could have your choice, who would be the one person you'd date?
Wow.
Or who are the three most beautiful women in the world?
Well, how about Lady Di? That would be an interesting one. She's going to be available.
What kind of women do you
choice.
like?
I think my choice might be you. Look at the legs on her. Boy. Good for you.
Can you imagine how controversial I'd be? You think about Clinton with the women. How about me with the women? Can you imagine?
Well, I mean, I think there is a certain controversy to me, and I am single, and I do go out with women.
While his family life may have been on the rocks, his business empire was crumbling.
The headline was quite accurate. Welcome to the 90s, Donald. Because it was like he got whacked right in the face. It was amazing.
Trump opened his third casino in Atlantic City in April 1990.
Yeah. I gotta hear something. We don't care. I want to hear how weird this guy is. Because for some reason, everybody want to give Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and everybody around Trump the heat, but not Trump. Hold on 1 second. Is it? So what he said? He said something about. Hold on. Unmute that. But don't want to give Trump the heat. So we're going to go through his fucking record.
You start and I'm ready.
In the wake of questions and allegations about Donald Trump's behavior towards women, ET discovered this footage in our archive, which we provided to CBS News.
Soon. Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it? Oh. Wow. Okay. Wow. I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
Wow. Yeah, he did say that to
Soon. Thursday night. You're going up the escalator?
He did say that to that little ass girl. Said that he was going to be dating her in 10 years. Remember that? Oh, man. But even with the shit he said about his daughter, this is just one disgusting individual that I don't understand how anybody could support. Anybody. And he has a lot of supporters. But his support is starting to fracture. A lot of people are starting to look through this whole Epstein shit, and they're bringing up all these old files and letters that he wrote. And it's like, damn, bro, your whole persona is just disgusting. And I don't know if I want to be a part of it no more. And then Trump knows it. He started talking shit back. Say, I don't even want y'all supporting me if y'all believe all this shit. Fuck you, MAGAs. Yep. He ain't fucking with them either. So, yes, we're going to, I'm going to continue to follow these updates. And hopefully, we get some answers. Because I think we're still being lied to by both sides. If this Epstein's list comes out and it has multiple redactions, and Trump's name is nowhere, I don't know. We're going to see. We are going to see. Because one thing that will happen, I'm going to just keep it 100. Keep it 100. If the FBI start releasing these files without Trump's name on it, and they do arrest a few other people in this case, how much money do you think they will offer or be offered to implicate Trump? Hey, I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't fucking know. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I wasn't there. I'm not making any assertions. But I know if you lock up one of these people on this FBI list, and then y'all start investigating and questioning this person, and that person says, oh, yeah, I was at Mar-a-Lago at Trump's place when I did that shit. Trump knows all about it. He was part of it. His name better be there. Sorry, his name better be there. So be careful. Be careful who you decide to call in and investigate and question on this situation after releasing this whole list of people without Trump's information on it. Crazy. I love y'all. I'm out of here. Please like, share, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell. That way you will be notified every time I go live or post anything. I'm